home, Noah, child number 7, is supposed to be getting ready for school.
No, don't get it all out now because I've got to put it all away.
Angela went into labour 5 weeks early. Noah's 8 years have been dominated by health crises. The day he was born, he was flown from Palmerston North to Auckland for intensive care.
I knew sort of straight away that he was really ill. I mean, he wasn't breathing at all well when he, soon after he was born, he was taken down to special care, and he sort of thought, I didn't think he was going to survive, actually.
It was only after Noah was born that Paul and Angela learned he had Down syndrome.
Which way to go now, do you think? Round the corner.
8 years on, he's just Noah. But Paul and Angela were surprised how long it took them to come to terms with his syndrome.
It was more of a bombshell than I sort of expected, I think. Having had Lily, I was very surprised by my feelings of how devastated I was to have my own child with Down syndrome. Because obviously we'd chosen to have Lily, but having your own child born to you with Down syndrome was much harder.
I can remember Paul especially saying, I just don't think this should hurt so much. We know Down syndrome. We know we can love a child with Down syndrome, but still this the sort of normal celebration ripped away from you, really. Yeah, there was a real sense of this wasn't what was supposed to happen.
He's a sort of very loving child who likes to do things. He's also become quite hard to control, though. And I think Angela sort of struggles with him at times, getting him to school and getting him to do things he's supposed to do. But he's maturing and growing.
You think you'd like that one better?
By the time the family decided to adopt Isaac, their 8th child, Paul and Angela thought they were experts on both Down syndrome and parenting.
Well, I suppose, we've had 7 kids and really just about everything had been thrown at us with our kids. So you kind of take number 8 perhaps a little complacent, and Isaac felt it was his duty, I think, to show us we truly didn't know parenting yet.
Isaac was born with life-threatening heart problems, often associated with Down syndrome. Open heart surgery was performed to patch the 8 holes in his heart. Isaac then experienced chronic reflux. 2-year-old Isaac is tube-fed for every meal. It's not yet clear if he will ever eat normally.
Isaac likes to play to an audience a bit too, I'd say. He enjoys having people around.
Hello, Maya, kia ora, Maya, how are you today?
When 8-year-old Noah was born, Angela and Paul helped establish a group for babies and preschoolers with Down syndrome.
And there would be a speech-language therapist and a physiotherapist and music therapy, and it was just nice talking to the other parents.
Now Isaac's part of the group.
Coming to a group just for children with Down syndrome means you don't have to explain your child, you don't have to explain your feelings, So you're actually in a group where you can talk about whatever you want and you're not forced to talk about the Down syndrome. But also if you want to talk about Down syndrome, there are people there who understand.
You can just wash up here so you can see the princess and the pea.
Paul's had 20 years experience raising children with Down syndrome. He's been on the prenatal screening committee for just over a year.
It was quite a difficult decision, really, because having children with Down syndrome, it's quite a difficult area, and I find it a very complicated area. It's got sort of major ethical and moral issues, as well as the kind of medical and social side and financial issues. So I kind of put my name forward thinking I would quite like to make sure that the kind of Down syndrome view was put forward. And also I've got a background in sort of laboratory medicine, so I knew what the tests involved and what it meant to do all the screening tests. So then asked to chair the group, which surprised me a bit, and I guess I'm much more the pro-life end, but I could kind of see both sides of the argument, I think.
One of the committee's goals is for parents to have a better understanding of what screening involves.
There are a lot of ethical issues there, things like understanding what the tests mean and what it means to tell somebody they're going to have a risk of having a child with Down syndrome. They use the term risk. A lot of people prefer the term chance because they think risk is very negative. But you'd be told, say your chance, and suppose your chance was 1 in 200 of having a child with Down syndrome, you'd be told you're at high risk. That means for 200 women with those results, one of them has a child with Down syndrome. The other 199 have got normal children. They'd all go for an amniocentesis. Now, 2 of those women will lose their baby because there's a 1% loss with amniocentesis. Now, I find that quite a difficult concept that you're going to lose 2 normal babies to find 1 baby with Down syndrome. That's quite a difficult ethical concept. I used to be incredibly sort of pro-life and very much against any kind of termination, especially for something like Down syndrome, until I've sort of seen what happens to some families. There's some families where they have a child with a disability, it kind of destroys the family and can destroy the marriage, and then you've got to start thinking, well, this is much harder. And somebody like Isaac's parents, they're a nice young couple, they're young professionals, they're likeable people, and they had planned their family, and then suddenly they're faced with this child with Down syndrome they weren't expecting, and it destroyed them. I mean, you could see, we met them, and these were a destroyed couple, and part of me felt they'd have been better off not having him, they would have been better off having a termination. It's hard to say that because Isaac's my little boy and he's very cute, but part of me felt that they would have been better off if they'd made that decision. And actually, I think people would have accepted them more. That's almost the sad thing, really, is that if they'd had a termination, they'd probably have had a lot of support from families saying, we understand why you terminated a child with disability. But when they gave away their child, nobody understood them.
Lily knows all about the screening committee her dad's on, and she's got her own opinion.
If she couldn't look after the child, give it to someone else that really loves the child. That's what I think.
Like what your parents have done.
Yes.
Yeah.